Okay, so let's see. 7:08 PM, I call the September 11th, 2023 meeting of the Carver School Committee to order. If everyone could please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If it's okay at this time, I'd like to ask everybody to remain standing and join me in observing a moment of silence as we remember and honor the victims of September 11th. The civilians killed in the attacks, the firefighters, the rescue personnel, the law enforcement officers who gave their lives saving others. Thank you. And just a reminder, this meeting is also being held virtually in accordance with the Government of Massachusetts March 12, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Members of the public can access this meeting in 3 ways. They can watch it live on Area 58. They can join us at Town Hall in room 1 upstairs, and they can also join the meeting via Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. So we're going to start with a recognition.
Yeah, so we're very excited tonight to have a recognition of Sophie DeCoste. So Sophie, if you could come up to the table, that would be great. Sophie was able to attend the Girls' State sponsored by the Plymouth branch of the American Legion. Girls' State is a hands-on experience which teaches Americanism and the political process. Attendees are divided into cities, countries, and political parties. The attendees participate in a mock government by developing responsibilities, running for political office, debating, and passing legislation. The representatives also have the opportunity to meet and engage with state representatives and senators. Sophie had an outstanding recognition. Beyond being Girls' State Representative from Massachusetts, she was selected to be one of our 2 state legislators in National Girls' State, and went to Washington, D.C. over the summer and represented Carver as a senator from Massachusetts at the national level. This is a tremendous honor. She did an outstanding job representing us. It was a great opportunity for her. And she's actually agreed to share a little bit about her experience, both at the state level and the national level. And then we'll we'll present her with her certificate, maybe do some pictures. So Sophie, I don't know if you want to talk a little about Girls' State.
Absolutely. I do have a speech prepared.
Because she's our senator from Massachusetts. She's prepared.
Right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sophie DeCoste, as previously stated, and I was this year's Massachusetts Girls' State Representative and Girls Nation Senator. My American Legion Auxiliary Post 40, sponsored me to represent Carver High School at Girls' State. It is there that we went into great depth of the function of our local government and the election process. We did this through mock elections throughout the week of positions ranging from members of the school council to mayors of towns to the governor of Girls' State. We also took 2 college-level classes. Myself, I took law, taught by a current serving judge, and ethics and leadership, taught by a West Point professor. Being among all of the supportive young women, this was truly the most empowering environment that I have ever encountered. The highest position to obtain at Girls' State was to become a Girls Nation Senator. 2 out of 200 girls were able to go. Passing a rigorous speech and interview process, I had the honor to be one of 2 out of 200 to represent the state of Massachusetts. At the immersive week-long Girls Nation program. Before even arriving in Washington, D.C., all Girls Nation senators submitted bills and legislations of their own that they are passionate about. And amongst arriving, I quickly saw that I was in a crowd of 100 of the most accomplished young women in the country. From business owners to interns of the courts, there was not a day that I didn't learn from these women. And I thank them so much for creating such an irreplaceable experience in my life with their humbleness of work and like-mindedness. The girls I worked with and myself would stay up late hours studying legislation, finding loopholes in bills, all while writing daily speeches and debates. This created a bond that I have never had before, which is why the hardest part of Girls Nation was having to leave. Those last few days of Girls Nation, the girls from the South taught me how to line dance. The girls from California taught me everything about fashion. And the girls from the Midwest enlightened me of the problems that they are facing in their region that I had not yet learned. Girls Nation gave me much, much more than knowledge, however. It also provided me with the connections needed to start the process of my bill, which gives a full exemption of primary residential housing to 100% permanent disabled veterans who have a service-related disability that inhibits them from working, also including their spouses. These experiences were inspirational and have pushed me to continue making a change through the government sector. So I will leave you all with a quote that I read at Girls State and Girls Nation because of how much it has motivated me throughout my career so far. It's what we can do for others from the lessons learned in our lifetimes that matters most. And our time here is what matters. Said by my father. This has become my mission to a life of service to others, and I would honestly never have it any other way. Thank you.
So thank you for sharing your experiences with us. What a tremendous job you just did. That was an outstanding presentation.
Thank you.
I don't know if any members of the committee have any questions or thoughts or.
That was amazing. Congratulations. Thank you
you
for
so
coming here, for sharing your speech with us. Clearly, you had a lot of amazing takeaways. Have you decided what you're going to major in? If you're going to college next year? Because you're a senior this year, correct?
Yes, so I have actually previously already started college through the dual enrollment program, majoring in biology.
Okay.
And I hope in the future to pursue a PhD in biomedical engineering.
Excellent. I wasn't sure if you were heading down the political trail or not.
I will definitely always be active in the community, though my main passion is medicine.
That's excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Look forward to hearing about your future accomplishments.
I don't know if we want to do a picture. If you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very nice job. And want to call up front? I always throw you guys in the picture.
Grace here for more. All right, sorry, everybody. Ready? One more.
Thank you, Sophie.
It's lovely to meet you.
Go Carver.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right?
So we're also excited to do another recognition this evening, which is, traditionally, we always recognize our new teachers at the first meeting after school starts. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Ruby Maestas, who is going to introduce our new teachers from Carver Elementary School. So Ruby, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Good evening, and thank you for having me. I am going to introduce 8 of the new staff members, of new educators over at Carver Elementary. And I am going to start with Carolyn Burke. Some of our new educators are here with us today. 6 of them, I believe, were able to make it. So Carolyn Burke is one of them, and she is currently teaching a 5th grade math and science. And Carolyn, wave hello, there she is. So Carolyn has 10 years of experience working with children ages infant to 5th grade. She is licensed in grades 1 through 6, and she's currently working on getting her licensure for early childhood as well. She is EEC certified, which means she's early education certified, and has worked in various areas. She's received her degree from Bridgewater State University, and with a concentration in sociology as well as education. She's also structured English immersion endorsed, which means she's taken coursework to really help support our students who speak English as a second language. She worked at the Dennett Elementary School as a math interventionist previous to coming to Carver Elementary School, and she also worked as an ESP at the Conley Elementary School in Whitman. So welcome, Carolyn. So next we have Jamie Costa, and Jamie is with us this evening. Say hello, Jamie. Jamie holds a bachelor's degree from St. John's College in Maine. She focused on psychology and social work. She also holds a master's degree in elementary education. She's licensed in moderate special needs as well as pre-K through 8 elementary education and in teaching grades 1 through 6. Prior to this year, she taught grade 3 inclusion in Acushnet. She taught summer school also in Pembroke, and she was a substantially separate educator for the social emotional program in Plymouth for 6 years. So she's also SEI endorsed, which for us that's a huge plus for us and for our children. And she is currently our new grade 1 inclusion teacher. So welcome, Jamie. And Cassidy Dressopoulos is next. She is not with us this evening. She was not able to make it, but she's one of our new second grade teachers. Cassidy has worked in grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, either in her student teaching roles or as an ESP. She also served a long-term substitute teaching role at the Broad Meadow Elementary School in Needham. Cassidy actually did a lot of work at the Broad Meadow School over the last several years. She graduated from Framingham State College with a Bachelor's of Arts in Education, and she's licensed to teach in grades 1 through 6. Also has her SCI endorsement, so we're happy to have her, and she was able to join us in our professional learning opportunities since June. So we're welcoming Cassidy to our new staff. Next is Angela Dulea. Angela, did I pronounce that correctly? Delay. Okay. All right, great. Thank you. So welcome, Angela. She was hired as our Carver Elementary School teacher for the visually impaired. She's worked as a certified orientation and mobility specialist for 6 to 8 years in Massachusetts. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and inclusive education from the Nazareth College of Rochester, New York. And she also has a master's in elementary education as well as a master's in vision studies. And she has a postgraduate degree in orientation and mobility from UMass Boston. Angela worked on Martha's Vineyard for a while. She's also worked in Boston, Lynn, and Westport. And we are so fortunate to have her with us at Carver Elementary School helping us as our teacher of the visually impaired. So welcome, Angela. I just really have to say I love talking about all of the teachers and their background and where they went to college and how much education they have. I just think it's just amazing. And the lifelong learning that they're doing, it's fabulous. Next is Hillary Keefe. So Hillary is hired as our speech and language pathologist. Hi, Hillary. So Hillary completed her graduate internship at Carver Elementary School under Abby Albin in the fall of 2020. So we're so happy to have her back in now what we have as a permanent position. She has a Bachelor of Science from Ithaca and a speech pathology master's degree from Emerson College. As a graduate student, she provided clinical speech and language therapy in schools in Beverly, Marblehead, and Carver. Previously, she worked in Plymouth at one of the middle schools, and you can see Hillary every morning at car rider drop-off helping to unload and greet the kids. Next is Jen Lyman, and Jen is one of our second grade teachers. Unfortunately, she was not able to be here with us this evening, but she has been a Carver Elementary substitute teacher since 2018. She has served as a long-term sub on 3 separate occasions for different teachers while they were on maternity leave, all in grade 2. She has also been a long-term substitute in kindergarten, grades 3, 4, and 5. Prior to her work with us, she was a tutor for Plymouth Incorporated since 2008, and she's a licensed biology educator in Massachusetts, as well as an elementary education grades 1 through 6 teacher. So it's wonderful for her to have a classroom of her own, and we have enjoyed having her this year, just really watching her as she continues to develop as an educator. So I did all of these in alphabetical order. I have 2 more. Next is Caroline Myers, who's with us here, and Caroline has her daughter, Sarah, right, and her husband. Hello. So Caroline previously worked as a special education teacher in North Carolina, where she taught students in grades K through 4. In 2006, she was Teacher of the Year in Bethel, North Carolina. She's worked at Bridgewater State University, where she taught undergraduate classes in special education, cultural diversity, and social justice. This past year, Caroline worked for Northeast Family Services as an in-home behavioral therapist. She earned her bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Montana, her master's degree in special education and disabilities from the American University, and her doctoral degree from Pennsylvania State University in special education and emotional disabilities. Caroline is working with our pre-K through grades 3 social emotional learning program. And last but definitely not least is Sherry Chaffane, and Sherry has been hired as our grade 3 inclusion educator. Prior to her coming to Carver Elementary, she worked as a special education teacher in Medway and in Taunton for students in grades 5 through 8. She's also worked in Florida, where she was an English language arts teacher, and she also worked in Florida for the Department of Children and Families. She earned her bachelor's degree from Eastern Illinois University, her master's degree from Jones International University in Colorado, and she's done significant postgraduate work from the Liberty University in Virginia, where she completed a course of study in curriculum instruction in the focusing on special education. So now she's with us, and all of the talents and skills and the training that all of these folks have behind them is incredible. So we're fortunate to have them all.
Thank you, Ruby.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite Middle High School Principal Christine Cabral to introduce the new staff at the middle high school.
Welcome.
Thank you. We also have 8 new staff members at the middle high school. So I'm going to start, I also organized mine alphabetically. So I'm going to start, we didn't practice that either, Ruby, but I'm going to start with Catherine Bramley. She's Katie Bramley, and she is here tonight. So Katie is the 7th grade science teacher on Team Phoenix. Katie comes from a family full of teachers, and after 15 years of working in the finance and banking industry, she realized what her true calling was in education. So Katie has a master's degree in education from Merrimack College. She's worked as a long-term science substitute in Northbridge Public Schools, and she taught 1 year of 8th grade science at Blackville-Melville Regional School District, and she's very excited and happy to be here in Carver. We introduced this, so this is our 9th person. We introduced Chris Carboni, the interim athletic director, at our last meeting, but I just would like to also just talk a little bit about him tonight, that he has experience as an athletic director at Uxbridge Public Schools, also at Stoughton Public Schools, and Chris has made really an impressive start to the school year, and we are really enjoying having him be part of our team, and I just wanted to mention Chris as well tonight. Next is Stephen Kane as middle school physical education teacher. Steve is a lifetime resident of Carver, and he recently graduated from William Carey College with a Bachelor of Science degree, majoring in physical education. Steve has been actively involved in the Carver community, particularly in youth flag football and basketball teams for over 17 years. He has served as the JV boys basketball coach at Carver Middle High School for, I believe it's 9 years. In last spring, he served as a long-term substitute in physical education. So we are really fortunate to have Steve with us as part of our team as well. Next is Deborah Keevy. Deborah is here with us tonight. We actually got Deborah mid last year, so she didn't start officially until August, but we were lucky to find Deborah. Deborah is a graduate of the University of Rhode Island with a Master's of Arts and a major in French. She is currently teaching French 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She taught French at Nauset High School for the past 17 years. So we are lucky enough to have her join us in Carver because she was looking to relocate in this area. So that's how we got her from Nauset. Deborah brings great experience and talent to her French classes. She has an artistic flair. She enjoys art and especially printmaking. Next is Andrew Mortarelli. He is the long-term substitute for English. Andrew teaches 10th grade literature composition, 8th grade English, and theater arts. Andrew recently earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree from Bridgewater State University with a major in English secondary education and a minor in special education. Andrew is passionate about theater and the arts. He has experience producing plays and performing in marching band, drumline, and concert choir. And a fun fact about Andrew, he's worked many years as a brick specialist for the Lego company in Braintree. Timothy Murphy is the high school physical education teacher, and I believe he also teaches one 8th grade class, co-teaches that with Steve. Tim comes to us with 9 years of experience from Newton Public Schools. While in Newton, Tim served as the middle school sports coordinator, special education teaching assistant, assistant athletic director, physical education teacher. Here at Carver Middle High School, Tim has also taken on the role as assistant athletic director. Tim is very happy to be working in Carver as he grew up in this area. He hopes to start a family of his own and be near to his family in Middleborough. Nicole O'Neill is hired as a special education teacher in the POST program. Nicole has a Master's of Education majoring in special education severe disabilities in all levels from Bridgewater State University. She has experience in working as a special education teacher at Braintree St. Coletta Day School. Nicole has a lot of coaching experience as well. She has coached indoor and outdoor track and field at Hingham High School and Notre Dame Academy. She's also coached field hockey, so we look forward to seeing what she can do with our unified sports programs. Sounds great. Next is Bridget Ryan. Bridget is the special education high school teacher in the language-based program. Bridget has 3 years of experience as a special education teacher in East Bridgewater Public Schools and 3 years as a learning specialist at Medfield High School. A fun fact about Bridget is that she's an experienced swim coach and has worked with the Old Colony YMCA, Neshoba Valley Special Olympics, and various summer camps. So we're really lucky to have Bridget with us. And last is Alex Tarpey. He is a special education inclusion teacher working with students in grades 11 and 12. Alex has several years of experience working in Taunton Public Schools as a 6th, 8th, and 9th grade inclusion teacher. He also served several years as a special education teacher at the May Institute in Brockton. Fun facts about Alex is not only has he coached football in East Bridgewater, Weymouth, and Stoughton high schools, but he's also coached football when he lived in Sweden. Yeah,
Wow.
and so you have to ask Alex about that when you see
Very interesting. That's great.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
So, one final time, I'd just like to extend a welcome to all of our new staff. We're excited about the wide range of experiences and talents and abilities that you bring to the Carver Public Schools. And we're all looking forward to working with you, hopefully for a long stay in Carver. So welcome to everybody, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for that. I know not necessary. Feel free to stay if you'd like, but we understand if you have, other things to do. So thank you all for coming. Look forward to
Thanks,
seeing you around the
everybody.
district. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
So that brings us to comments from the EAPC, and I think I saw Thomas on.
He is.
Welcome, Tom.
Yeah, I'm here. Evening, everyone. I want to welcome all new members and congratulate them on their new roles, as I'm sure they're walking out the door, but it's unfortunately, I haven't just opening day, we have the collecting opening days, but I heard Tammy did a great job speaking on behalf of the EAPC. I know it was hot and humid, but hope everybody had a wonderful start to the school year. Have a great night.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks so much, Tom. Take care. Thanks for being here. Okay, so bear with me. That brings us to comments from the general public.
Right now, we do not have anybody on the
I was
Zoom meeting, so
gonna
we
say,
don't
I
have to
didn't think
open it
there
up
was
to Zoom.
anybody on Zoom. And we don't have anyone in the audience that I think would like to speak. I mean,
They
unless.
certainly
unless
could,
one of
but,
our administrators would like to speak, you're more than welcome to. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Okay, so with that, that will bring us to the approval of minutes. You know what, that's not the background agenda. Bear with me a second. I need to open up the background agenda so I have more detail in front of me. Nope, I keep bringing up August. Yes, we need a motion to approve. I just can't say the date.
I got them.
Okay, thank you.
I move that we approve the August 14th, 2023 open session meetings.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I move that we approve the minutes from the August 29th, 2023 special meeting building tours.
A second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just trying to get that background agenda. I don't know why I keep bringing up August.
I think we're first day smiles.
Okay. So that will bring us to, communications and
Yep.
first day smile.
Yeah, so for communication tonight, we wanted to show you the video that the community put together and that with Gina's assistance of First Day Smiles. So we put it out to the community to say, let's take that first day of school picture and send it in to the district. And so we did it both for first grade through 12th grade, and then we did it for pre-K and K. Tonight, I just brought the 1 through 12 presentation. So it's just about 3 minutes of everyone's first day smiles.
I missed the window.
This came out so good.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
So awesome. That was so great.
Yeah, we
Good
both-
job, Gina. So much fun.
Yeah, so we were just really excited about that. It was so nice to see everybody's smiles, and we were happy with the participation. So we really had participation from students in grades 1 through 12. So that was really great. We were glad that they participated in that way. So thank you, Gina, for all your work, and thank you for the community for sending in your pictures.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
And it really it highlights that it really has been, in the big picture, a really positive start to the school year in general. People have been happy and excited and are looking forward to a great year, and as are we as the administration and staff.
Excellent. Okay, so that brings us to reports from the superintendent.
Okay, first one, personnel updates. So since we last met, we have had some new hires and a couple resignations. So new hires, John Borgeson is a custodian third shift at the elementary school. Christopher Flood is a custodian third shift at the middle high school. Jamie Coster is a special education teacher at the elementary school who we met tonight. Dr. Carolyn Myers, a special education teacher at the elementary school who we also met tonight. Deborah Usher is a lunch monitor at the elementary school. Sheila Foley is an ESP job coach at the middle high school. Tony Rhoda as a long-term substitute in manufacturing, engineering, and technology for Mr. Aruder at the middle high school. Sue Spillane as a .5 Spanish teacher at the middle high school. Sue is actually a retired teacher who was returned to us and is going to do a .5 Spanish position. So we did have difficulty hiring a Spanish teacher, and so what we were able to do is actually Sue agreed to come back and do half the position, and then 2 other sections of the course are being taught by our current Spanish teachers. So each Spanish teacher picked up 1 additional section, and Sue took 3 sections to cover that position. Haley Ellis is an ESP in special education at the middle high school. Maria Camacho is an ESP lunchroom monitor at the elementary school. In resignation since we last met, Brianne Panarelli, lunch monitor at the elementary school. Jessica Scarafoni is an ESP special education at the elementary school. Linda Ural in the food service at the middle high school. and Cody Nickerson is an ESP in special education at the middle high school. And that's our personnel updates for this month. I'm assuming or really hoping next month that will be a much smaller list, as it should be.
Right, thank you for the updates.
Well, just go on to next item.
Yes.
Online bullying reporting form. So as a district, we've decided that we want to develop an anonymous online bullying reporting form. We would hope this would allow some people who've expressed concerns about reporting bullying to come forward and have the ability to do it anonymously. So the goal would be to review the form this evening with the committee and then to make it go live tomorrow. So we're ready to hit the ground, put it out onto the website, make it available to the community. You know, obviously, we want to do everything we can to ensure that all concerns in regards to bullying or possible bullying are reported to the administration. We would always advocate for members of the community to reach out to anybody who they feel comfortable with, whether it's a teacher who would then report it on to the administration, guidance staff, the nurses, certainly members of the administration. You know, if you're concerned about any kind of bullying incident, if we're not aware of it, it makes it very difficult for us to manage it, to assist you, to support your students. And that's ultimately what we want to do in all of these situations. We want to ensure that we want to ensure the community that we are here to support all of our students through any situation that they're dealing with. And there has been a concern that people have felt uncomfortable, that they feel that for some reason that there might be some sort of, that it won't go well if they report the bullying, that somehow that will come back on them. So people have asked for an anonymous bullying reporting form. You know, ultimately, I would always encourage people to reach out to us, but I can understand that concern, and as the administration, as we talked about it, we understood that concern and said ultimately our goal is to ensure that there's a mechanism for everyone to report any concerns that they may have. So this is the form that we've put together. I'll review it briefly. It's not very detailed. It's very open-ended. Ultimately, we just wanted to start with a general statement of, if this is an emergency, don't fill out the bullying reporting form. Just make a clear statement of, if this is a real emergency, you need to contact somebody, you need to call somebody, you need to reach out to 911. Then we just give a general definition of bullying. Bullying is repeated use by one or more students of written, verbal, electronic expressions, or a physical act or gesture, or any combination thereof, directed at another student, a target, causing one or more of the following: physical or emotional harm to the targeted student or damage to their property, a hostile environment at school for the targeted student, infringement on the rights of the targeted student at school, or material and substantial disruption in the educational process or orderly operation of the school. This definition actually comes directly from our bullying plan, bullying prevention and intervention plan, as does that next statement of, bullying generally involves picking on a student over time. It may include such conduct as hitting or shoving, pressuring a student into taking an action she does not wish to take, words that involve threats, teasing, put-downs, or name-calling, threatening looks, gestures, or actions, cruel rumors, false accusations, and social isolation. The behavior must be repeated, and there must be an imbalance of power between the target and the aggressor for the behavior to constitute bullying. The Carver Public School highly respects and care for your privacy. This reporting form will not collect email addresses. The only information we gather is what you choose to share with us upon completing this report. So we want to make it really clear that there's no collection of data here besides what you put into the form. I know that sometimes that is a concern, especially this is a Google form, and sometimes people have a concern with a Google form that it tracks emails, that it still has a way to identify you. So that is true of Google Forms, but we have turned that off. So we've turned off the collection of data. So the only data we would be collecting is what people put into the form. So that's kind of the general introduction. And then the questions are name of the reporter, which is optional. And we do want to collect a little data on this, whether it's a student reporting about a student, a staff member. I would obviously, our goal, we're hoping to create an environment that all staff members would feel comfortable coming forward, but maybe there's a situation where that's not the case. A parent and guardian, or just a member of the community. You're a member of the community who's aware of something, and you want to tell us what's going on. Date of the incidents, putting in the month, day, and year. So we said incident or incidents if there were multiple occurrences. Where did the incidents occur? Name of the alleged target, name of the alleged aggressors, name of any witnesses, and then a brief description of the incident, and then submit the form. So we've actually created a form for the elementary school and the middle high school. So the elementary form will be clearly identified and will go to the assistant principals at the elementary school. So the administration, Mrs. Myasis, and the associate principals will be able to see the form. And then there's a form for the middle high school, which will go to Mrs. Cabral, Mr. Antel, and Mr. McGinnis. So they're the people who the form will be going to. And ultimately, our goal here is just to provide another means, another way for people to address and bring forward concerns of bullying that we want to work with families in addressing and supporting students. So, as I said, we're ready to go live tomorrow, and I'll take any questions people may have.
Just where are the forms going to live? On the CES and the middle high school websites?
So yes, we'll have it on the main page of the
main page,
website.
okay.
And then we'll also have it on each individual page as well.
Beautiful.
So we'll have a link on the main page and a link on each individual page.
That is great.
Fantastic.
And then certainly you can direct people if anybody brings concerns. Of course, we would advocate for them to go to the administration, but if they feel more comfortable completing the form, then you can certainly direct people to do that.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. I want to echo Mr. Neve's words. The district is truly there to help every student, right? Every staff member feel safe and supported. So while we all echo his encouragement of reaching out to a teacher or a guidance counselor or a nurse or an administrator, someone that you feel comfortable with, we thought it was important also to have an anonymous form, because some people might be a little intimidated or a little worried about coming forward. So thank you so much for the efforts that you put into putting this together. We all wish that bullying wasn't a thing, and hopefully we'll continue to be able to work together to eradicate it. So thank you very much for your efforts. Thank you for presenting this. You don't need a vote.
We don't need a
from us, right?
vote per
It's
se,
just a
just
discussion.
wanted to make, unless people had concerns that they wanted something to be
Yep.
changed or something different. And as I said, our intention is to go live tomorrow.
Yep, no, I think it looks great.
Yep, fantastic. This has been near and dear to my heart anyway, so I'm thrilled. Looks good. Appreciate all the hard work.
Right, thank you.
All right, going on to number C, another exciting change that we've instituted this year is the class tag communication system. And Gina is really our lead behind class tag. So I'm going to take the lead in the presentation, but I may defer some questions or defer to Gina at some points during the presentation because she's become our class tag guru.
Great.
So class tag is a district-wide communication. Why class tag? And ultimately, unified family engagement, equitable access for families, trying to streamline how communications happen within the district, and another opportunity, another means for people to communicate. The other why for class tag for me personally, and as the superintendent, I felt was important, that in certain circumstances, or really, I think some families just prefer the way society has become to get messages through their cell phone and through text. And I think that we found that specifically, I would say this was happening maybe more in sports and athletics and advisors, is that coaches were doing some levels of communications through text messaging. And ultimately, we have a responsibility as a school district to maintain all contacts with students and families. And we maintain that as part of a student's educational record. So we wanted to go to a system that could kind of bring those two things together from the standpoint of, if families are saying the best way to communicate with us is through text, and we're saying, well, that's not the way we advocate for staff members to communicate with families. What can maybe bring those two things together? And class tag brought that together from the standpoint of, we're going to see later in the presentation, and the families will actually have a choice once they join class tag on how they receive their communication. And even though the teacher or the coach or the advisor or whoever it is, the administrator, whoever is sending out that message, a person receiving it, meaning parents, not students yet, parents would be able to receive that as a text message and select that as a text message. And then when they reply, they can reply through text, and it comes back to the school as an email. So whoever sends that out. And then, obviously, since ClassTag is our system that the school has purchased, we maintain that data. So it maintains a database of all those communications, which technically we have to. Any communication with a family about a student is part of that student's public record that we have to be able to maintain. So there's kind of a combo reason as to why of ClassTag. So with ClassTag, families can connect and receive anytime announcements. And we're going to talk about this a couple of times. You actually are able to select a language. And I think this is going to be a tremendous benefit for ClassTag for us, is that once the family joins the app, they can select their native language. And then what happens is if someone sends out a communication, it comes to that family in their selected language. And then they're able to respond in their selected language, and it comes back to the school in English. So it does that instant communication and instant translation, which I think is huge. And I want to thank Meredith and our ELL staff members, Beth Goodwin and Pat Tobin, and Christine Thomas and Morgan Brown. Last Thursday they did a technology night for all of our, and I keep saying ELL, but now it's MLL, multi-language learners. That's the new term. So our MLL students and families, they did a technology night for them, and they ensured everyone who came, they were able to get them on the ClassTag, sign them up, get them into their native language. So we know that once we start communicating with those families through ClassTag, we know that they're on the app, and we know that they have selected their native language, which I think is going to be huge. So obviously through ClassTag, there's a list here. You can stay on top of your news and events. You can directly message a teacher, so you can reach out to a teacher as a parent. And then if the teacher chooses to, you can send videos, pictures, and from their class. Now, what we've said to the staff, and the elementary school's been using ClassTag for this year, for 5 years. So some of the families in the community are going to be used to ClassTag anyhow because they've been involved through the elementary school. And what we've said to teachers, we are not requiring teachers to say that their only method of communication is through ClassTag. So we've told them that certainly you can pick up the phone and call somebody, which we still encourage people to do. Or you can email through the Aspen system and connect through the Aspen system, or you can use ClassTag. So we're not saying to teachers, you can only use ClassTag. But, and our rationale for that from some perspective is also that ultimately especially through an email, if parents select email as their primary way of receiving the information, it's kind of going to look the same, whether the person sends the email through Aspen or the person sends the email through ClassTag. The other piece of that right now, which we're going to talk a little bit more, I'm giving the whole presentation, Jim, without the slides. We'll look at the slides later, that's all right. We'll get to those slides, so let's look at them. Is that right now students can only receive emails per se. So students cannot select to receive a text message on their phone. So even if teachers are primarily, a lot of times, especially at the middle high school level, connecting with their students, whether they send it through Aspen or ClassTag, the students are going to receive it in their email. So students will, receive emails from teachers, coaches, advisors through their student email account, have one-to-one communication with teachers, coaches, and advisors. Students can download the app, and they sign in using their student email account through Google. So ClassTag is linked to Aspen. And this is important information for the community, which we're going to be reinforcing. The administrations will be reinforcing this, and teachers will be reinforcing it, is that the information in ClassTag is only as good as the information in Aspen. So if in Aspen you don't have the right phone number or the right email, then you don't have the right phone number and the right email in ClassTag. And our understanding is that even if you change it in ClassTag, Aspen and ClassTag are syncing every night. So if you go, even if you say, I'm going to make it right in ClassTag, Aspen's going to change. It's going to change it back to what's in Aspen. because it's syncing that information. So we have to make sure that we're updating our Aspen accounts, which has been a little bit, I know I'm all over the place, but I know we got rid of the old cards and asked people
Yep.
to re-register through Aspen. And it's even more important now to re-register through Aspen, because Aspen is what's informing ClassTag in terms of your email address and your cell phone number. So we'd encourage people, there's information on the website on how to review your Aspen account and make sure your information is accurate. So we encourage people to do that. And really for the student point, I just want to reinforce I don't know how many students are going to be listening to this or watching it on TV later, and Mrs. Cabral will be providing this information to students and to families as well, is that they can download the app and they don't have to create a new account. I think that's been a big confuser so far for members of the community, is they feel like they have to download Aspen and create an account. You just have to go and download Aspen and download ClassTag and log in using your your email that's in Aspen. It's not even your school email because parents don't have school accounts. So whatever email they have in Aspen, they just have to that's their username. And they can even click, if they forget their Aspen password, they can click forgot password. If it's gonna prompt them, send an email to redo their password. Okay. So families out there, if you're getting on to ClassTag, you do not need to create a new account. You can just sign in using your email. And same with students. Students can just sign in using the students are using their school email. And they can it actually gives you a choice of sign in with Google. You select sign in with Google. It's gonna ask you to put your Google email and password in, and then you're in. The student account, and we're actually working with ClassTag on this. They have a level of interest of actually having us be a pilot for them. Right now, the students can't see the news feed that parents can see. The students' account is a little limited. And I think, I'll be honest and say, primarily ClassTag has been used at the elementary level. And the thought process was, second graders don't necessarily need to see the news feed on their ClassTag account. But high school students are definitely, I think, more interested in that and having the same functionality that their parents could have. So ClassTag is actually interested in that, and they're talking with us about maybe working on that. That certainly wouldn't come out until the future. That's not going to happen next month.
Right.
They're exploring the concept of having it look the same for students as it does for parents. But you can direct message, and students can direct message. If they have the app, they can directly message one of their teachers with any questions or concerns. Parents, we just said this. Actually, Gina, is there a video in here? What?
There's a little 30-second video.
Right, we'll watch the 30-second video. This has been a constant work in process. I have not seen the video yet either. We'll go back. I think I pressed play, but that didn't work. So let's start the video over. There we go. It's gonna have some volume.
There isn't any sound on it.
No sound?
Nope. Just to play in the background to show the steps visually. Riveting.
Yeah. But we'll also, I think it'd be a good idea to put the video up on the website.
Yeah, it'll
So,
be super helpful, I
yeah,
think, for
so
people.
we will put the video up on the website and let people kind of go through that in terms of, doesn't want to let me exit full screen, there we go. Letting people be able to see that process of how to log in and get their account set up. And I know Mrs. Cabral at Open House on Thursday night will have some information for parents on how to sign up as well for those families because at the middle high school level, we have to get parents signed in and onto the app. This is some of the things we've already talked about. Every parent has different needs and preferences, so that whole concept of you be able to select your with language barriers we covered, So parents can choose their preferred language, contact information, communication. So this is the big piece is once you're into the app, you can go into the setting and select what you want, your phone number, your email, your language, and then whether you want to receive your messages through a text message or through an email, which I think is just great flexibility for people in terms of communication. So it's one simple place for parent and teacher communication. Gina, what have I missed?
No, I think you covered it all.
Yeah, so we're excited to roll Class Tag out. I know that one of our goals has been to continuously improve communications with the community, and we're hoping this is another way we're going to be able to do that. And we're looking forward to having this work. Gina, go ahead.
If I may, I
Yeah.
just wanted to share also that the great part we found with Class Tag is that because we're using or we're offering kind of one app, if you will, or one communication platform district-wide, that also includes your extracurricular activities, and that includes your sports as well. So having Class Tag as one unified platform, our hope is that parents are going to see that this is a lighter lift for them also, because they're going to be able to get kind of notifications from perhaps a sports team and maybe a teacher and maybe an advisor, and all of these things are in one place as compared to having to download a number of different apps to make sure that you're getting all the communications. Class Tag has a couple of other things that they're rolling out, which I didn't even share before, which is right now, especially as a middle high school parent, when you're going to log in there, you're going to see there's a lot of classes listed because, you know, our students have 7 different classes and semesters change and terms change. But Class Tag is working on a unified parent view so that all of that stuff is kind of in one beautiful place. So there's, we're hopeful that in the future, as we get used to using this, it's going to become easier and easier.
I have to say, I feel like in the years past, you had to get like a code from the teacher and get into the classroom. I'm already getting notifications, no problem, from my teachers. So they must have already initiated who's in their class and without going that extra step of me adding them. They've already
Yes,
added
because
me.
we've synced it with
Yeah.
Aspen.
Okay, perfect.
So it's bringing the class, the schedule right over to your account. So it's whatever, your information in Aspen, as long as that's correct, you're going to be good in Class Tag.
Seems like it.
Right, yeah, I agree with Gina, it's been amazing being able to just go into the app and see everything. It's one
Yep.
concise
So
package.
again, this was just an informational presentation for the committee and for the members of the community. And then our goal here is to, streamline and improve communications with our families.
Yes, I think we are well on our way, so thank you, Gina, for all of your efforts and your hard work. Very exciting to see our upward trend in communication. You guys have really done a great job over the last year-ish, but this is very exciting. So again, parents, please, please, please update your information in Aspen. Please, please, please.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, so that brings us to Budget Policies and Procedures Working Group.
All right, I'm going to turn to Ron for this. I'll just give a very generic intro, which Ron's probably going to, stealing part of Ron's thunder, is the Select Board is putting together a working group to review the budget procedures and policies for the town. Ron actually has worked extensively with Sue Moquin, the Finance Director, to develop the proposed budget calendar that's going to be proposed this year. And they've actually invited, the Select Board has invited myself, Ron, and Stephanie to join this working group, along with Bob Fennessy, Sue Moquin, John Cotter, and Dan Ryan from the Select Board. Beth Solger is the Chair of the Capital Outlay Committee, and Alan Germain as the Chair of the Finance Committee. That's who's going to be on the working group. Otherwise, Ron.
So sort of continuing that theme of unification, right? The big picture, the goal of this working group is really just to have a collaborative budget process. As Mr. Neef mentioned, it just brings some stakeholders from the elected officials and executive branch together to take a big picture look at annual revenue projections, your budget calendar, your financial management policies. It's a good idea to do those things early on in the process and then revisit them. And when you do that together as a single community, you get a more efficient process, you get a better benefit across the board. I'll go through a couple of the items with you tonight. Yeah. So sort of 4 threads, if you will. The first is just bringing this group together. Several communities use this mechanism where it's a financial working group, and that group's goal is to really bring some unification to common documentation and common process path, common timeline. It doesn't set anything in stone necessarily, but it helps everyone sort of have a common launch pad and then this touch point where we can go back and say, how are we doing? Are our revenues trending the way they're supposed to be? What are the expenses looking like? Do we need to go back and take a double check on anything? So I'll go through each of these items together. As Mr. Neef mentioned, those are the representatives from the group. It's designed to be a working group, so it's a small working group that hopefully will meet early on in the process. We're planning to meet at the end of this week with a couple of basic goals. One is to set our calendar for the year and to make sure that all of the town departments and the school department are working together so that as we march from now until town meeting, which I know feels like a long time away, but it's really right around the corner, we're doing so together and doing so collaboratively. And also that we make sure as we do that process that we check in again, typically when the governor's cherry sheet is released, to make sure that we're in line with our revenue projections, matching up with the state revenue projections as well. So the work products that we have, the team will take a look at a draft budget calendar. Again, we'll sort of sync together all of the town departments along with the school department and march us through the process of collecting data and input from all the right stakeholders, having that data input sort of brought together as preliminary models, and then presenting those preliminary models to the elected officials to get feedback and ultimately, hopefully, approval. The other big work product will be the revenue projection model. And again, the team will take a look at that model this fall. We've got a draft model for the team to review. It'll take a look at all the revenue projections from the past several years, take a look at the typical cherry sheets, your Chapter 70, sort of put all of that together, identify where those revenues will ultimately come from and how they'll be apportioned. Once we all agree on what that looks like, then we're all working from a common model of revenue. And that's really what it's going to come down to for the end of the fiscal year, right? And then lastly, the town and the school department have a unified set of financial policies. I believe they were conceived in 2014. They've been updated from time to time. You can see on the doc there's been several updates. But it's just a good idea to take a look at them regularly and to match those up with the best practice in the financial sector, both from a school finance perspective as well as a municipal finance perspective. So update those with whatever the best practices are in the sector, as well as whatever is best for Carver and the community of Carver. So we're looking forward to getting together at the end of this week for our first meeting. It'll be more of an orientation. We'll probably follow that up with one more in the fall, and hopefully get back together as the budget cycle continues and we start to get some data from the state. That's it. That's the 10,000-foot view. I'll keep you up to date as we start the budget process. We're still very early.
Right, great. Thank you very much for that in-depth presentation, as always. I hope it provides everyone with a little bit more understanding as to what the working group is going to be about. So I'm excited to participate. As I think everyone knows, I started working in town hall 18 years ago. So I've been on both sides of the budget. So I'm looking forward to being involved in that process. So that brings us to upcoming events, which I think everyone loves. I always get excited to see what's headed our way and our students' way.
Just give it a second.
Instant presentation. Field trips are coming. So many sporting events.
A lot of sporting events. They're not all on there, but we do have the senior class has their first major events for the end of September. Senior dinner dance on the 21st, and the senior trip to the duck boats to Boston on the 22nd. We do have middle school picture days, always exciting in terms of coming up. And the middle high school is doing a Hispanic week, the week of the 18th to the 22nd, celebrating Hispanic culture. Another thing I want to highlight, just in terms of grade 4 and 5 are doing instrument presentations this Friday. I believe the 15th is this Friday. And so we always want to be encouraging our students to take up an instrument, join the band. So that's kind of the start of that process of hopefully getting students in the community excited about music and being part of the band. as we get into October, obviously our next meeting is the 2nd, so a lot of the stuff on this trip, so a lot of the stuff here is that we'll see again on October 2nd when we meet again. But we have the 6th grade field trip to Camp Burgess. That's been a change this year. So the 6th grade is not going to Camp Borndale. We're going to Camp Burgess this year, which is in Sandwich. Right? So the advisors to the club, it's not a club. The advisors to the trip, just looked at what was happening at Borndale, tried to decide to look at some other options, and decided that Camp Burgess would be a better opportunity for our students this year. So we're changing directions a little bit and excited about 6th graders going to Camp Burgess for 4 days. Booster-thon's coming up. It's fun run time again, October 14th. And then homecoming football game and homecoming dance the weekend of October 20th and 21st. And also we have parent-teacher conferences coming up at the middle high school on the 19th. But October 19th is still far away. We got a little time to go for October 19th. It does. Is that a mistake? Sorry.
13th, okay.
Booster-thon is the 13th for anybody who's looking at which is a Friday. So so it's not on Saturday the 14th. We'll make it very clear the Booster-thon is not on Saturday the 14th. Right. And then going to recommendations, we have a little bit of a short agenda tonight. Going to recommendations, we have a couple field trips. If this committee, we obviously would support both these field trips. Junior class to Salem is a traditional field trip that the junior class has done for the last several years. They go and spend the whole day in Salem, and then they go to Canby Lake Park for, what is it?
Fright Fest.
Fright Fest. So I did that field trip last year. It was a good time. And one field trip that I have not done is the Bahamas field trip. not saying I'm going to go on that one in June, but they'd like to take a group back to the Bahamas. The Bahamas field trip does that. It says June 2024 because they haven't finalized the dates yet. It would be after school is over. So that trip, they do not miss any school days. So we're looking for approval for both of those trips. And the Bahamas trip is a high school trip, students in grades 9 through 11. Seniors are not allowed to participate in the Bahamas trip because they're no longer members of the school because they just graduate.
Right.
And if you want to, you can bundle them together or you can do them separately.
So I make a motion to allow both the junior class to Salem field trip and the junior class to the Bahamas.
I will second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Wish everyone a lot of fun. Very exciting. Okay, and that brings us to reports from the school committee, and I just had a quick update in terms of MASC. So their conference is coming up in November, and I'm hoping that like last year, hopefully we'll be able to have everyone attend for at least a dinner. Everyone is, welcome to register for the conference if they would like. And I'm sure MASC would help us again this year with registration fees. But I wanted to also mention, I can't get the website to load, but that's okay. Just having technology struggles today. I also wanted to mention that at the conference, there will be elections, and this year it's the odd number divisions, which includes our division. So they are looking for participation from Division 7 members to join the nominating committee. So that, and also to submit their name for an officer position of secretary, vice chair, or chair, Division 7. I will be running for re-election as chair. We'll see how everything plays out. But if any of you are interested, I just wanted to mention it so that you were all aware. I know there's a new communications person. Anthony has sent out an email with some information, but they really need people to put their names in, either for the nominating committee, which will mainly be done on Zoom. The delegate assembly will also vote in resolutions as well as finalize all elections. So you don't have to attend all 3 days of the conference, but like I said, it would be great if there's if you want to look at, as it gets closer, there'll be more and more information about who the keynote speaker is, what workshop sessions there will be. I think there's two dinners. There's one at the beginning and then one at the end. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this year. It's a little bit different because of the Veterans Day holiday. So it's full day Wednesday, Thursday, and then half day on Friday. But there is a dinner Friday evening.
8th, 9th, and 10th.
So 8th, 9th, and 10th of November. So I wanted to mention that to everyone in case you are interested in learning more. I highly recommend it. I've been able to learn so much and bring so many things back to Superintendent Neve, as well as, the committee itself, in ways that we can improve our performance. So I wanted to mention that. And then also, I know that we weren't able to have a retreat over the summer, but I would like for us to pick a date, if we could, to meet. I had a date in mind, but there's another district event that came up, so I wanted to see if a Monday night still would work for everyone. We could try to come up with a date that we can put something on the calendar, and then I can try to schedule a guest speaker for us. I think we were looking, I'm trying to think, when's our next meeting?
Our next meeting is October 2nd.
October 2nd. I'm trying to think, I'm not here the 9th, so does anyone have a date that comes to mind that works?
Is there a night
So what
that,
do you-
is there a night that works other than a Monday night?
Yes.
Or like, what are you thinking, like, starting at 5 to?
I was thinking starting at 5, yeah, hopefully like 5 to 8. Nothing too late.
Okay.
And I would like to schedule some PD for us, and then I will also, I've been working on it, I just haven't shared it with everyone. I have a folder, so there'll be some documents that everyone can look at ahead of time, before we get together.
Well,
So we
there's some-
can set our goals, review Scott's goals, set any goals that we may want for Scott for this year.
So there's already 2 meetings in October. Does November have also, how many meetings do we have in November?
Let me see.
I think it's just the 13th.
So would November sound
this?
better?
Anyway,
What's the 13th?
I don't know, my schedule is gonna be jam-packed from now until December.
I'm in school 4 days a week, so.
Now until December is craziness.
Maybe in November
Maybe November.
or even December?
Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll have to
Figure it out.
revisit that, yep. And hopefully we'll be able to come up with a date.
No, okay. Yeah, Monday night.
I mean, is Monday night the only night that would work for people, or varies?
I was just thinking if we already had 2 meetings and
We could use one
that
of
would
them.
be 3 school committee meetings, technically.
Right, I tried to do a weekend day, but that didn't work for
Yeah,
everyone
the 9th
either.
is a holiday.
A week
So-
doesn't bother me. Just
Okay.
What about the 16th of October?
Is everyone available the 16th? I have to check my meeting.
I don't know, it's hard.
I don't have access.
Mondays
to it. I'm
are,
good.
yeah, Mondays are usually typically okay for me. Everything else is
I,
mess.
I can do October 16th.
Not that I want to cram anything more into that month, but
Right,
if we
yeah.
can do the 16th, I can do the 16th. I could probably do the 20th, I don't know, the 23rd would be.
Yeah, we're meeting that day anyway.
23rd, we have a
We're
meeting.
already
We're
meeting that day.
anyway,
The
yeah.
16th,
for what?
I'm going to say a big no on the
So-
30th
Yeah.
of October.
Halloween Eve.
Halloween Eve, I'll be busy.
Yep.
Busy.
So what's on the 16th?
I was thinking.
So
the
they're
16th would
proposing,
be a good day.
Kelly was
Right.
proposing October 16th as a meeting.
Right, and she said there's already something on the.
No, there's something on the
No,
23rd.
we're meeting.
We're meeting on the 23rd.
Right.
So the 9th is a holiday though, right?
Night's a holiday, yes.
Holiday, okay. So the 16th would probably work. Katie, what do you?
Yeah, I might be a little late because I'm in class until like 4:40, but I'll just get here from Bridgewater as fast as I can, whatever night. whatever
Okay,
week.
we can start at 5:30 if you want some breathing room to get there.
It's fine. I don't want to hold everyone else up. I
5:30
just,
is fine. I work till 5 anyway, so.
okay.
Yeah.
So 5:30, 5:30?
Yeah, 5:30, I think would be better on the 16th.
5:30 on the 16th?
And then, of course, between now and then, if there's something that,
Comes up.
you know, any of you would like us to work on or a subject matter that you're interested in, just let me know and I can work on putting something together for us to explore.
Sounds good.
I don't know why I'm having such technical difficulties today.
It's
But,
been a day.
Yeah, so check your emails if you are interested in volunteering with MASC, and then you can look at the annual joint conference in November. I can't get their website to load for some reason, so that was it for, okay, no, wait, here it is, it loaded. So the theme this year is investing in equitable school districts, moving from theory to practice. So do they have the keynote on here? They do not, but it is Wednesday, the 8th at 7 p.m. And then they usually have at the end of the week, so programming goes through 12 o'clock, and then there's a dinner on Friday night where they induct the lifetime members, and they give out awards to divisions and different people who have been nominated for a multitude of different categories. So there are a few opportunities in case of, you know, Wednesday night doesn't work. There's also their Friday night dinner. I have to say everything was really great last year. So that is that. It's at the Emerald Resort / Irish Village in Hyannis, which is near the Cape Cod Melody tent. It's changed ownership, so it's changed name, but it's the same location that it is every year. So that's that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you for everyone in our district who's working so hard for our students and for our staff. I think that this school year is off to a great start, and looking forward to, hopefully it won't go by too fast. There's so many events and so many things. I know I feel like everyone's calendar, no matter who I talk to, is just jam-packed with events, but they're all good things. So let's hope we can keep it along those lines. So thank you, everyone. Does anyone have anything they would like to add? Okay, it's 8:24. Someone would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion about adjourning? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's still 8:24 p.m. Thank you, everyone.